Well, from police licenses to requirements for teaching licenses. A judge on that side says the state can require new teachers here to demonstrate what is called cultural competency before being certified to teach in our public schools. Chances are you might have a few questions on what that is. Like, what is cultural competency? Well, what will the requirements look like? And why is the judge involved or a judge involved? Kent went to get some answers for you.
Yeah, I did, Jana. First, the judge was needed because this has become a political hot-button issue with challenges coming from conservatives. It's the first time in about 20 years as well that the state's Professional Educator Licensing and Standards Board had proposed updating its requirements for new teachers. And some called it an overreach at best and government indoctrination at worst. But now that the judge has weighed in, we wanted to know how this will actually work.
For now, defining what cultural competency means in Minnesota classrooms still depends on who you're asking.
Cultural competency in classrooms really means that every student, without exception, is seen and valued for who they are and treated with dignity and respect.
As a former teacher, Matt Shaver says he learned that the hard way.
When I got into the classroom, I began to recognize that, as one of the 95% of teachers in Minnesota who are white people serving a ever diversifying student population, that I had a lot of gaps in my cultural understanding and how to make sure that I was teaching in an inclusive way.
It's why he has since joined Ed Allies in advocating Minnesota's Professional Educator Licensing and Standards Board for a cultural competency requirement for all new teachers. Though an administrative law judge has now cleared the way for that requirement, he says questions remain.
My question about this is, okay, so teacher preparations programs throughout the state, how are you going to adjust your programs to meet these new standards?
Essentially, a lot still has to be figured out.
Yeah, in terms of implementation, absolutely. This ruling, this thing that's like hitting the news, it's one of the final checkpoints to making these pretty big changes and making them real.
But for those already teaching the teachers at the University of Minnesota, they say it's not as big a change as you might think.
We are just continuing this path in this direction, and this is another way that policy is catching up to people's actions.
Dr. Cynthia Zwicky says she and the university as a whole has been incorporating cultural competency into teaching for several years. And while the topic has become politicized in recent years, she says she wants to be clear about what she is and is not teaching.
It certainly isn't telling people a certain way is right or wrong. So it's really about telling things from other people's perspectives. We want our children to live in society where they know how to interact and get along with a plurality of people. And I believe schools are the place where we learn those rules of engagement.
Now, despite okaying this new requirement, the judge did rule that the board overstepped by adding curriculum recommendations to its proposed standards. That means it has to fix that language before all of this can go into effect and be approved. I'm told they'll start that process at their next board meeting on Friday. Jana.
So, Kent, as an example, it would be a teacher would be aware that there could be Jewish students in the classroom. And so we talk about Hanukkah or we talk about Kwanzaa for other students, not just Christmas, stuff like that.
It's really incorporated into all of the teaching profession learning that they have throughout. So she said it's really like taking and thinking about the experiences that are a mirror to your own experiences growing up and some that are a window, and that you have to help other kids and even sometimes yourself understand how people of other races and religions might live and operate.
All right, that makes sense. Thanks, Kent.